Well, you said at the tease that we had 10.
Yes, I did. I came up with 10.
Here at the CCA World
8 of them are really
I can't
good.
wait to
2
hear.
of them you probably heard before.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just get
First
to
one
it.
you probably heard before. We want to find blue water. Warm blue water. Dolphin like warm water. They're a warm water species. We want to find warm blue water with bait in it. Bait being the key. You know, debris is good, but if there's bait and no debris, that's still good. If there's birds and debris, that's good, but it'd be better if there was bait. If we can find bait in blue water, that's what we really want. Bait, debris, and birds, then we're just golden.
We're just catching.
Exactly. But that's what we want to try to find, because dolphin will associate with floating debris. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're in if you find a good patch of bait, but there's no bait, I mean a big patch of weeds and there's bait on it, but you don't see any dolphin, go ahead and chum it.
Oh.
Chumming, if you come up on a weed patch and you start chumming that thing, dolphins will satellite around a big weed patch, and they'll hang with it for miles and miles and miles. And sometimes, but they'll go away from it and come back, and go away from it and come back during the day. And if you're sitting there and you start chumming and it gets that activity working underneath that thing, it'll draw them in.
Right.
And a lot of times when you don't see any, they're still down there.
Right.
Use J hooks when targeting dolphin. First of all, you can catch them on circle hooks, and we want to usually use a circle hook, especially when we're fishing for things we're going to let go. We usually don't let go dolphin if they're of legal size, and it's really hard to hook them sometimes on a circle hook if you're using a big piece of bait, because the bait gets in the way of them hooking up. Also, the speed at which a dolphin grabs a bait, especially when he's got his friends around, he'll grab a bait and take off, trying to get away from his buddies who are all trying to eat that same thing that's hanging out of his mouth, and he won't swallow it. And you'll come tight and you'll get the head back.
Yeah, it comes
Sancocho. Either that or he'll swallow it and he's moving so fast and you come tight too fast and start to wind and it'll come right out of his mouth.
Doesn't have time to slap.
Exactly. So, if you get into a bunch of schoolies where you're just catching them and to let them go ahead and switch back to your circle hooks. But if you're going to try to kill them, use your J hooks. Naked ballyhoo will always give you a better hookup than if there's a lure in front of it. But at the same time, a lot of guys aren't going to believe me, but these, an island lure and these other little lures, they work just fine without a ballyhoo. Right. We all think they have to have a ballyhoo in it. The guy who made this, he made this because he was tired of pulling ballyhoo.
Right. Right.
And it works without a ballyhoo, but we all stick a ballyhoo in it because that's what we were taught. But they will work without a ballyhoo.
Well, we think that things have to have a smell for a fish that's voracious to eat it.
He doesn't smell it before he eats it. He sees it from a long way away, comes piling in on it. He's not sniffing. All right. Bigger dolphin, you can use, they lurk on the outskirts of the school. If you get onto a bunch of, 10-pound dolphin, the big giant ones are going to be at the bottom and on the far outskirts. So if you can get baits down deep or throw a popper or something way far out, like a big popper like that you can put on a spinning rod and get way on the outskirts of that school and pop, pop, pop it. They'll come up from deep to hit that popper, or they'll be out there on the outside of the school.
So do you think
or you drop a live bait all the way down to the bottom, or down to the bottom of that school. A lot of times you'll get a big wahoo doing that, because wahoos will also stalk a school of dolphins.
When you use a big bait, that eliminates the small fish.
Yes, big baits catch big dolphins.
Yeah.
I caught with a buddy of mine. We caught an 80-pound dolphin on a giant Braziliano one time.
What?
So don't be afraid. If you're in a place where you're wanting to catch big things, use big baits.
You better hurry.
Keep a dolphin's head in the water when it's time to when you're gaffing him. If you pull his head up, he's going to want to jump. It's hard to hit one in the air. I know a lot of guys like to try it. We got a lot of lumberjacks, cat, cat, cat. No, go real easy, smooth and easy. Hit him in the eyeballs. Lay the gaff on the leader and pop him right in the eyes with a gaff pointing backwards.
Right.
You're gonna hit him in his face.
I like it.
We're not gonna mess up.
Keep him on the line.
Keep one on the line.
So they're gonna jump and
this is probably one you've heard. Keep them on the line. It's not that they're hanging out with the buddy. It's because he starts throwing up when he gets hooked. And when he's throwing up, he's chumming for everybody else. As soon as that one stops barfing, get him out and get a new barfer in there so he can keep coming. Keep him
What's
coming.
the last
All right.
one?
Use a dead ballyhoo and an Eiler combination. You can't beat any color, any time.
I'm telling you, that was the best Dolphin 101. I learned so much.